Are you ready?
A Shot of Wrestling, episode 222. And away we go!
Wait till get a shot, boy. Is that the message you got? We about to go live, are you ready to rock? So take a shot. Oh, so take a shot. Oh, yeah. I'm a street breaker. I'm a heartbreaker. This is my yard. I'm a mold raiser. Rick Flair, Nature Boy, about to seek and destroy. It's an SOW. Let me hear you make noise. Take a shot, boy. Is that the message you got? We about to go live. Are you ready to rock? So take a shot.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Shot of Wrestling. It is me, your favorite actor, the Hollywood assassin himself, Mark Schwann, taking over Michael J. Putty's show. And I am joined by my childhood friend growing up. He is the Al Bundy of West Islip, Karrion Kross. What's up, my man?
Man, I appreciate the love, I guess, of the Al Bundy. But, Mark, listen, we have a lot to discuss today.
Okay, so let's not waste any time here. Let's get right into it. So some big news in wrestling. We had an unfortunate passing with Bullet Bob Armstrong. Rest in peace to him. He's the legendary father to the Road Dogg Jesse James, as we all know. Very sad to hear about that. It's also in the Hall of Fame 2011. But breaking news, keep in mind, everyone, we record on Friday nights. We just found out Black Panther himself, Chadwick Boseman, has passed away. We literally just found that out right now. Yo, that's huge, man.
Yeah, man, it's a big loss for the acting community, and obviously very sensitive times, and to lose another very successful African-American man. I mean, that obviously puts a dark cloud over not only Hollywood, but, with everything that's going on now, to lose somebody who actually played a role in a very powerful movie for Black people, in Black Panther, and it's unfortunate news.
Very, very tragic, man. I mean, 43 years old. I had no idea. I thought he was younger than that. And plus, I had no idea he had colon cancer.
Neither did I. I found that out after I heard how he passed away. So
right, because I heard the news, Chadwick Boseman passed away. I'm like, what? Huh? Did he die of COVID? Did something happen? Was it a shooting, or did he get run over, or what happened?
Yeah.
But colon cancer, man, wow. He's been battling this for years. And, I have to say, as an actor myself, working on film, it's a long, grueling schedule, right? And when you're number one on the call sheet, as he has been for Black Panther and for multiple other roles, but that's 16-hour days, man. And the fact that he was able to take that on, going through what he was going through, it just speaks volumes to the talent that he was and just the person he was altogether.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right, man. You bring a lot of good points and all the hard work it takes to get there. And like I said, very unfortunate news.
No, very sad, man. Jesus Christ, man. Two big passings this week. This is not how I really wanted to start off the show for Shot of Wrestling, but dude, I was blown away, man. I couldn't help but talk about it right now with you. I want to get under your skin talk about fantasy football. We're in the same league, but I'd feel weird doing that right now.
Yeah. Yeah, and another thing too. I mean, he played Jackie Robinson in 42.
And today, as we're recording, today is Jackie Robinson Day. Yeah, no, very sad, man. But Carson, I'm going to do my best to segue as we can into the news.
It's time for In the News with Michael J. Putty and Mark Schwann.
All right, Carson, so some big news coming from NXT. Karrion Kross was forced to drop the NXT Championship after suffering apparently a separated shoulder at TakeOver against his match with Keith Lee. Apparently, it seems to be worse than just a separated shoulder, according to the MRI. This past Tuesday, this coming Tuesday actually, is going to be a fatal four-way in an Iron Man match. First time ever. It's going to determine a new champion. It's going to be Gargano versus Ciampa versus Balor versus Adam Cole, baby. All former NXT champions. Carson, who do you have?
I got to go to Finn Balor here. I think Finn Balor, gets back to the top of the mountain. It was kind of weird seeing him in not saying an opener for, NXT TakeOver is a bad thing. It's always, if you're not on the last match, they always say you want to be on the first match, right, on the card. But it feels weird seeing him go from WWE to NXT and then still without, not still, but at NXT TakeOver 30, not even wrestling for gold. So I found that a little weird. I think maybe we get his push. Ciampa, little heel turn possibly we're seeing, right? I mean, I think he'd be my second guess.
Yeah, I mean, these are all great choices. I personally think it's going to be Adam Cole. He just had a historic run. He's obviously the top guy in NXT. It seemed like they're gearing him towards a push into the main event, to the main roster. But after what just happened, obviously it's going to be a change of plans. Keith Lee going to the main roster obviously shakes things up a bit as well. I do have to ask, though, how bad does this hurt the character of Karrion Kross?
It's unfortunate. We saw it happen to Finn Balor after SummerSlam a couple of years ago, and it just takes all the life out of the balloon. He was on fire. He was on fire,
Right.
and obviously he gets his biggest victory in his career, and then something like this unfortunately happens. And you can tell during the match, you could tell he's favoring that shoulder, and I was very actually impressed. I know he just did an interview after TakeOver saying that he wanted to prove to everybody that he's made out for this business at this level, and that's why he chose to continue and still did the spot off the top rope with the suplex. And think about it, he kicking up Keith Lee off that with a shoulder that was already separated. And I know it kind of looked ugly at the end there. Probably didn't get as much impact as he wanted, with how they ended the match. But I mean, just the fact that he went out there, he finished it, and that's something Triple H would do. When Triple H tore his quad in 2001, what did he do? He had Jericho put him in the walls of Jericho still with a torn quad on the announcer's table. So, he showed some heart. He's definitely a top guy in NXT, and I'm looking forward for his return. I really am.
No, so there's no doubt about that. I mean, Karrion Kross, he worked in the Indies quite a bit, and I know a few guys that worked him, and they all said the same thing. I mean, the man is tough. He's a very tough guy. He's a good guy. He's a good worker to work with. Obviously, highly respected in WWE. Seems like a lot of the officials backstage have nothing but high praise for him, especially right away. Karrion Kross seems like you blinked an eye, and all of a sudden he was NXT champion. The guy he's a main eventer. You can see it. He's got this. He's got the move set. He's got the look. He's got the charisma. There's just something about him that you just all eyes just go towards him. It's very unfortunate. I hope that this injury doesn't set him back, or even his character back, because his character is somewhat. I don't necessarily know, like, paranormal, but not. I don't necessarily know, otherworldly. I don't know what the word is to describe it, but
he has the best entrance right now in all of wrestling, in my opinion.
Hands
yes,
down.
I'm putting that over the Fiend. And I'll tell you right now, Scarlett helps so much with that character.
Totally
Everything
does.
From her facial expressions to the way she enters the ring, that ambiance that you feel when he's making that entrance, you have to love all that, man. And think about it. You need that in order to get over it in 2020.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
You can't just be plain Joe coming down the aisle. You need to have that ambiance about you. And, Bray Wyatt made adjustments, and then the Fiend, amazing. Everyone loves the Fiend.
Well, not Michael J. Putty. Putty does not like the Fiend, but that's a whole other story.
Yeah.
But going on, that's this Tuesday coming up. NXT, huge fight feel. I'm pumped for it. But moving on. So Pro Wrestling Illustrated, they released their cover for the PWI 500 issue. Very exciting stuff. I have the top 10 right here. At 10, we have AJ Styles. Number 9, Kofi Kingston. 8, Seth Rollins. 7, Cody Rhodes. 6, Kazuchika Okada. 5, Tetsuya Naito. 4, Drew McIntyre. 3, Chris Jericho. 2, Adam Cole, baby. And number 1, the cover, the AEW champion, Jon Moxley. Carson, did they get it right here?
Part of me wants to have Adam Cole ahead of Moxley. I'm just a big Adam Cole mark. Like I said, it reminds me closest thing to Shawn Michaels. Maybe Dolph Ziggler, but he deserves it. He deserves it. He had a less rough couple of years in WWE because he should have been, he should have been booked better. He should have been a top guy like he is in AEW. And you know what? He switched promotions. And you know what he did? He took AEW and he's helped, along with Jericho, make that a must-watch TV show every Wednesday night. I love what he's doing. I'm looking forward to his match with MJF coming up. So he certainly deserves it. I'm happy to see him there at number one.
I don't know. I really don't know. And it's not like I'm not a Jon Moxley fan. I do like Jon Moxley. I even like his work as Dean Ambrose. But you can definitely tell Jon Moxley, he's enjoying himself more in AEW. He doesn't have the shackles on. He's more loose. He's more himself. He's basically what Stone Cold Steve Austin was calling him out to be on his podcast nowadays in AEW. But it's number one out of 500 wrestlers in the world and then some. I don't know, man. I think he does belong in the top 10, don't get me wrong. But, one can make an argument for Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho has been consistently doing everything he can to put AEW on the map. Even on commentary, the man rocks. One can make an argument for maybe even Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre, he's not getting necessarily the praise he probably should. He's a fantastic champion during a shitty time in wrestling, carrying the company on his back, making people care. One can make an argument for him. It's tough. Adam Cole, obviously, the longest reigning NXT champion of all time. This is tough, man. This is really tough. I mean, Jon Moxley, I don't necessarily know if I'd put him above everyone I just named. Hell, I might even put Orange Cassidy above Jon Moxley right now.
Yeah, I will sit here and make an argument for Randy Orton right now, because I'll tell you one thing. This is some of Randy Orton's best work I've seen, in the last 10 years. And that's not a knock on his career, because he's done great things every time, he takes the ring. Every time he always makes a storyline so believable, especially when he's a heel. What he's done, and I like to look at the pandemic era right now, because that is the time where we needed the absolute best from every single wrestler out there right now, especially WWE, AEW. We need the best, because you have to make up for not having the crowd. You have to make up for, you're making your own energy out there, really. Outside the announcers, you're making your own energy. You have to get yourself over without much fan reaction. And Randy Orton, man, this is some of the best work he's done in the last 10, maybe. I mean, I would argue that maybe his career.
His whole career.
Where he is.
I agree. I would say his whole career, because I am shocked that he's not even in the top 10. Because Randy Orton, you're right. What he's doing, it's old school wrestling. You can do all the flashy moves all you want in the ring. You don't have a crowd. You're not going to get a pop. So how are you going to make people invested into these storylines? You create storylines. You create storylines that people are going to tune into every single week. You slow it down in the ring. You teach these young kids how to wrestle and how to make people care and to invest into your character. And that's what Randy Orton has done. Kudos to him. And he's getting robbed here, in my opinion, from PWI 500. But I real fast.
Well, that's the first thing I noticed. Not to interrupt you, but that's the first thing I noticed, that he was not in the top 10 there.
It's a shame.
And that shocked me.
No, that's a shame. If anything, you're right. I think he could make a claim to be number one right now. Real fast, though, I do want to give some love to some people that made the PWI 500 that I've worked with or I've interacted with during my short time here in the pro wrestling world. Faye Jackson making some history here at 160. Richard Holiday, I interviewed recently on Shot of Wrestling, making 198. 199, Joe Gacy, I worked with him as Eric Jaden defeated him at BCW. Darius Carter, 337. Darius Carter, me and him have a lot of history together. You know what? I do pay him some respect, the longest reigning BCW champion of all time. And then Joey Ace at 453. Joey Ace, I have some history with him in the Pancourt. Talented individual, all of them just tremendously talented, even though I may have some decorated history here with especially Darius Carter. I can't believe I'm giving love to you right now. But moving on. So Carson, WWE is on a contract with Amway until October 31st, Halloween. They're paying Orlando $200,000 to rent the arena. The WWE has an option to negotiate long-term or even short-term within a 2-week notice. But meanwhile, in AEW, you see at Dynamite this past week, we saw fans return. There were 600 fans that were allowed there in attendance. They all had to get their temperatures checked upon entry, and their seats, they followed the social distance guidelines there. Why isn't WWE following suit? Why are they sticking with the Thunderdome for as long as they are?
Well, because the Thunderdome was one of the more expensive things at WWE. That wasn't cheap.
$200K to rent that out to October. I mean, that's a discount right there.
Yeah.
But then again, I don't know what else how much it was for the whole production.
It was one of the most financially, one of the most expensive things WWE has done in a couple of years. And I mean, that's just think about the setup. That's a lot of money just to give us more of an immersive experience as a fan. It costs a lot of money, and they want to get the most out of it. And also, I heard, when fans do return, when fans are officially allowed to return and, they're able to pack out arenas again, the Thunderdome's not going to go away. It's not necessarily going to be used, but it's going to be something that WWE, just in case, will always be able to go back to. It was a huge investment from the company, and they want to get the absolute most out of it. And I'll be honest, man, it's one of the best things, at least I thought, one of the best things WWE has done. They beat AEW on this one, I thought. There
is no beating WWE in production value. You can't do it. You can't do it.
Yeah.
The WWE is just so far advanced. They have so much more equity. They mastered it. It's like a brand new TV show trying to top Law and Order's shooting schedule. You're not going to do it.
Yeah.
They've been around forever. So there's no taking that away. I mean, I had some knocks on it in the last show about the Thunderdome, about the sound quality. I think they've improved on that since then in a very short time. So they're working out the kinks.
Yeah, well, it gives them it gives them the option to pump in that extra crowd noise too. Because sometimes we're pumping the crowd noise when there's only 25 people watching. Now you have all the screens packed out. It gives them the option of pumping some fan noise. I get it. It works. And my question to you, I wanted to ask: do you think WWE resorts to? I don't want to say resort, but do you think they create the Thunderdome if AEW did not beat them at first in March in terms of giving putting the wrestlers ringside first? Do you think?
I don't know, man. I mean,
is this a one-up? You think from they lost the first battle of AEW in terms of the pandemic and how they were doing production there. Is this a one-up now? Is this their little victory?
I mean, if you're going to beat AEW or you're going to beat any other promotions trying to go against you, WWE has to go to what they do best, and that's production value. I don't necessarily know how long this was in the works. This doesn't sound like it was like on the whim, like, oh, AEW is beating us, let's try this. This sounds like this may have been in the works for a while. It just meant finding a way of like getting it done. So, I mean, kudos to WWE for making that happen. As far as that 2-week notice goes, the fact that AEW is bringing fans back, Vince McMahon's dying to have people back there in the arena. I don't see them going past October 31st at all with this. Do you?
I mean, we were in March, and I said fans would be back for SummerSlam, and here we are. So I have no timetable on anything, man.
True. What is time nowadays, right?
Yeah, I'm just hoping that we have fans in Hollywood next year for WrestleMania, man. That's my next timeline I want to hit.
Dude, I'm just hoping movies come back. Here I am. I'm still an unemployed schmuck here hosting a podcast show in place of Michael J. Putty. That's my biggest gig right now. But, speaking of my gigs coming up, I do have one, September 5th in Atlantic City at the Showboat. Honestly, Carson, I'm really pumped for this, man. I've been in the Indies. This is my second year in there. And I actually just had an interview with the master himself, the man behind the cloth who owns BCW, telling us more about the upcoming show. So I'm just going to let the man do the talking for himself. Ladies and gentlemen, I have a very special guest here today. He is a close personal friend of mine, and I honestly have to say, I wouldn't be in professional wrestling without this man right here. He is the owner, the promoter, the man behind BCW Bree Combination Wrestling. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Mr. Anthony Cole.
Hey, Mark, thank you for that introduction, man. Thank you for having me.
No,
how are you?
Thank you for making time out of your busy day. You have a big show coming up, so I'm glad you cleared some time to come on our show for Shot of Wrestling. It means a lot to me, but I am doing great. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic, man. I'm back on the official podcast of BCW, so I have to be doing great,
Hell yeah, man. Bringing the shades, bringing the smile, looking trimmer. You look great, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, I've been working out a little bit, trying to get myself together.
It's like this quarantine never happened.
Right. The quarantine was tough, but I made the best of it. So.
And you're coming back in a big way. So, Anthony, BCW, the 4-year anniversary, it's finally happening.
Finally.
Months in the making. We've been talking about it for a while. The pandemic obviously screwed things up, our original plans, but hell, we're coming back bigger and better. The Showboat.
Bigger and better, baby. You know, the pandemic may have slowed us down, but it can't stop us. We're rolling right along, and we're rolling right into the showboat. Saturday, September 5th.
Oh my God, yeah, it's this Saturday coming up. So tell me, which match on there are you looking forward to the most?
You know what? I have been wanting to crown my tag team champion since December 2019. Right? We have a fully stacked card, but I'm really looking forward to seeing Satsujin's own Chris Barton, Dominic De Niro take on Ugly Ducklings, Rob Killjoy, and Lance Luke. Oh man, you know, and I was thinking about Satsujin, like, you know, Chris and Dom, they came to BCW because we put out a message on Instagram saying, you know, who you guys want to see? Who do you want to see in BCW? Chris and Dom came in, and I must say, they've impressed me. You know, they came in, and they were a little green, but they were determined to do their training every week, to get better, get polished. Dom lost weight. Chris lost a lot of weight. You know, these guys are taking it serious. And that's something that really impressed me. And their first time at BCW was against, ironically, the Ugly Ducklings. And they got smashed.
I wouldn't say smashed. I've seen the match.
Well, maybe not smashed, but let's just say their inexperience got the best of them. Because the Ugly Ducklings, you know, more polished in the ring, know how to, you know, just maneuver a little bit better than Chris and Dom at the time. And I'm sure Ugly Ducklings have gotten a lot better as well. So there's gonna be one to see.
Well,
I'm looking forward to it.
Let me tell you personally, you know me. I mean, Chris Barton, Dominic De Niro, they're my boys. I represent them being a manager of the Satsujin squad. And I've been talking with them this whole time. Listen, they've had the Ugly Ducklings on their mind for a very long time. You know, that match we talked about before, that was before my time in professional wrestling. I've seen the match since, but ever since then, I mean, they've been talking about that nonstop, about that loss. And I've seen a progression firsthand of Barton De Niro as a tag team. And in my mind, they are the best tag team in wrestling today. Just their innovation, their style, and their willpower to get better and better and better, to learn from every match. Even if they won, they want to learn from any mistakes that they had in that match, just so they can be better. They want to be perfect. And I don't necessarily know, and no disrespect to the Ugly Ducklings, as good as they are, as entertaining as they are, I just don't know if they have what it takes to beat East Coast this time. The Satsujin squad. I just don't think they do.
You know what, Mark? All I can say is only time will tell. But I'm just as excited as you are, because I see this is going to be a big one. This is going to be a big one here. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, listen, there's nothing more that I want to see than Dom and Barton wear the tag team gold. I want to be in their ring celebrating with them. I want to be popping the bubbly after the show celebrating. I want to have a kick-ass time, especially in Atlantic City, baby.
Ooh. Wow. Yeah. Oh, that's going to be big.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be big. I'm glad you brought that up. But we're also going to have some special appearances for this show, too, right?
Yes. We got, for the first time ever, making his BCW debut, Ace Romero, AC Baby, taking on the Jurassic Juggernaut, Vince Steele. Oh, that's another one. That's going to be a slobber knocker right there.
Now, is the ring going to be reinforced for this? Because I don't.
It has to be. There's no choice.
One body slam, that ring is gone.
Finito.
That might have to be the main event, just in case.
Just in case, right? You know, can't have that match, and then everybody else has to do a no ring match because the ring is gone.
Oh, I just heard that Ace Romero is saying that he lost over 100 pounds.
Oh, really? So, I didn't know that.
So that man's going to be able to move right now. Vince Steele has to prepare for that.
You got to be ready.
We also have JTG in the house.
Yes, sir. JTG is in the house.
Prime time.
Mm-hmm. Big time. He's coming in. Yeah. See what we're going to do with him. You know, still putting the ink to the paper to make something special happen with JTG.
Okay.
And then of course, you know who's coming back. One of my favorites, Faye Jackson. You know, the last time we saw her at Queen of the North 2, she was injured. She was unable to compete, but that injury has, been 100% healed up. She's cleared to go. So can't wait to see her back in action as well.
Absolutely. And one of the first women also in the PWI 500. The news
Yes.
that just broke out this week.
Mm-hmm.
So
Indeed.
congrats to her. Definitely a huge ass at the BCW. Great first women's champion.
Indeed. Yes. Very proud of her.
So, Mr. Cole, who is Faye going to face then?
Well, that's the thing, right? Faye has been on the road, and she has made it clear that she wants all competitors, men and women. So I figured since it'll be her first time back in a BCW ring, let's put her against somebody that's going to challenge her. So I am putting her against PCA's own Ray Kalitri.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now,
Yes, indeed.
listen, I mean, I have my own differences with Pancor.
I know you do.
It brings a smile on my face to see, Ray get squashed by Faye Jackson. I can't wait for
Yeah,
that.
I think she's going to hurt him.
How
think
does
she
the
might
governor
hurt.
feel about this? Have you talked to the governor about
Well,
it?
you know what? The governor has actually been texting me since she found out I was on Shadow Wrestling Podcast, but I got to send the governor the voicemail right now. I told the governor, when the president calls, the governor answers. But when the governor calls the president, it's subjective.
Exactly. We've seen that in real life as well.
Right.
So I have to ask though, this whole governor nonsense. I mean, what is AJ the governor of, really? I mean, does he have any real authority here?
I mean, unfortunately, he does have real authority.
Oh, come on.
There was some documents put in place, and if AJ met certain criteria, he would have gotten the opportunity to be the governor. Now, when I spoke and said that this would happen, I had no idea that AJ was actually going to be able to accomplish those tasks. But he did. So I have to honor the fact that AJ is now, and has been for about a year, if not more, the governor of BCW. That doesn't even roll off my tongue right.
No,
I'm like,
I feel a little nauseous after hearing that, actually.
Yeah.
And Lord knows he's listening right now, and the size of his head is just filling the room.
Yeah, I believe it. But he earned it, so I have to honor it.
Has he? Has he, though? Has he?
He did. He met the criteria. And I hate to say it, but, I got to give credit where credit is due. He did it.
Well, I have to say, professional opinion aside, AJ, I have learned a lot from him, so much respect to Mr. AJ Pan right there. This leads me to Darius Carter.
Ooh.
The World Heavyweight Champion.
Mm.
What do you have in store for him?
Mm.
I know a lot has changed since our original card.
Yes.
You can't have an anniversary show without the World Heavyweight Champion, especially a record-setting World Heavyweight Champion such as Darius Carter.
Indeed. And, I've been trying to get in touch with Darius Carter. I've had Jimmy J reach out to Darius several times. And at the end of the last curtain call, if you happen to catch that, Darius called in towards the end of the show, and he said that, since we don't have a formidable opponent for him at the moment, he's not going to do a match.
Oh, stop.
He's going to come, and instead of it being a celebration of the 4 years of BCW, it's going to be a celebration of DC. Because in his own words, and I quote, there would be no BCW without DC. So he says BCW is DC. He put the company on his back and he carried it and he did this and that. So instead of being in a match, he's just going to be there to celebrate. Not BCW, but to celebrate DC. So we'll see what happens.
Formidable opponent, though? Formidable. We have Rick Recon. As you
Indeed.
know, Anthony
Yes.
Cole, I have some grievances here with this. He has proven himself time and time and time and time again. The man is a stud. I released a promo the other day that said he is a workhorse and he is a show horse. He looks the part and he backs it up in the ring. The man just looks like a champion. Formidable opponent. Hello?
I know. Yeah, card subject to change, so things may have to change. I've been looking at Rick. I've been looking at a couple of other people on the roster, and Darius claimed on the curtain call that there's no one on the BCW roster that could even hold a candle to him. So, with that being said, we're going to have to make sure that Darius eats those words come Anniversary 4.
I am personally looking forward to seeing him get punched in the face. You know how I feel about Darius Carter. Listen, he proves himself time and time again how great he is in the ring. He really is. There's no touching him in that ring. But listen, every man can be beat. He's not a god. He's not even a demigod. He's someone that's just really good at what he does. But on any given day in that ring, you can get beat. So Darius Carter, I hope he really buys into this hype. I hope he's drinking his own Kool-Aid, because that's going to be his downfall for sure in the future. And I hope for sure it winds up at being Anniversary 4 somehow, some way.
Okay, time will tell. We'll see, because he's getting out there. I mean, he's always been out there, but oof.
Someone's got to bring him down a bit.
Right. How you going to tell me you not doing a match? You not defending the title? You just coming to celebrate yourself. I hear that. Disgrace of a champ.
It's not taking anything away from him in the ring. It's just, I mean, listen, I have my own grievances with him when he decided to put his hands on me. That's it. That's all. I'll leave it at that. Anyway, Mr. Cole, I want to go on to you right now. We talk a lot about Anniversary 4, how it's going to be a great show at the Showboat. We have tickets on sale, right?
Tickets on sale now, yes.
Tickets on sale right now at Eventbrite. So I want to go on to you. I don't necessarily know of any other real black promoters out there in professional wrestling, in the indie world especially. Now, does that mean anything to you at all right now?
You know what? When I first came into the industry, and I never thought about it. I never thought about me being a black promoter, me being a black business owner. I was just a business owner. But then as time went on, I started to notice that people would come to me and they would say things like just what you said. It's so great to have an African-American promoter that is about integrity, about honesty, none of the nonsense that you hear about that goes on in this industry. And I just prided myself on being, an honest businessman. And I always want to keep it that way. And I never, thought about being African-American in this business. But when people reach out to me, I realize now that it does mean a lot. That even though I had planned on it, I am the one setting the standard for other African Americans that will come, into this industry as well. And I take that mantle. I want to be the one guy that says, look, if you're going to be in this business and you want to be honest and you want to run a great company, look at the example that Anthony Cole has set. I want people to look at me and be that guy, and I'm happy about that. I love that position. And I'm going to wear that badge with pride, because I am going to set the standard. I am going to let people know that, we are smart enough, we are strong enough, and we can come together. We can do this as a joint venture. It doesn't have to be always crabs in a barrel where I'm trying to get to the top and other people are pulling me down. Let's get to the top together,
No, absolutely. I mean, I believe, honestly, as being a part Latino myself, I believe that representation matters. When a little boy, a little girl of color sees a man in your position, they see hope. They see hope for a huge future, because just to be in WWE or in WCW at that time as a minority was a big deal. To be a champion was to be the goal, but no one's ever thought to be necessarily a promoter in the business, because you don't really see that representation out there. And to me, I think that's a big deal.
Thank you, man. It is a big deal. Now, when I think about it, and like I said, the people that have talked to me about it, and the respect that they give me for what I do, and like I said, this isn't something that I'm forced to do. It's just natural. It comes natural to me. The way I am, me, Mark. Like how we met, and I'm Anthony Cole on screen, off screen, wherever you see me, whenever you talk to me, I'm the same guy. You know what I mean? And I want people to understand that, like, the way I run this company from the top down is the way I am in real life. So everything that we do it because it means a lot to us. And I want to make sure that everybody that's part of BCW, feels comfortable, feels safe, feels happy being a part of this show, man, because it just means so much to me. And you guys mean so much to me as well. So thank you.
No, you are a very hands-on promoter, I have to say. So it always brings a lot of joy for me when I work with BCW, especially our relationship. It brings me back. I mean, you are a man of opportunity in my eyes, and I've seen it time and time again just by working with you. But I'm a prime example of that. My very first indie wrestling show as a performer was at LAW, if you remember, 2 years ago, actually. And it was the start of the whole Satsujin squad, or at that time the Saiyan squad, that war with LAW.
Yes.
And me and you just got to talking because it was it was your first time getting involved too in a storyline, as I remember.
Yes. Yes, we did the invasion at LAW, which was great. That was the first day I met you, and that was the first day you introduced me at LAW, which was amazing. I loved it.
No, and I am so grateful for the opportunity you gave me because honestly, I mean, Frankie Flo, he did bring me in, so I owe a lot to him as well. But you kept me in the business, putting me with Eric Jaden, putting me with Dom and Chris and Rick and Naya. It's just been such an awesome ride. I had no idea what I was getting myself into when I first got into professional wrestling, but man, it's been a lot of fun, and I owe it all to you, my man.
Oh, man, Mark, you deserve it, man. You came in, you impressed me, you started training. Again, you were another one of the guys that showed me you were taking this serious, and that's what we were looking for, people that just didn't do it for a payday, people that did it for the love of it, and you were one of those guys. It's always been a pleasure to work with you, and I look forward to many, many more years of working with you, man.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah, absolutely. This year felt like 5 years personally, so I feel aged and I feel grizzled. I feel like a veteran right now, but I'm not. I'm still a rookie in my eyes. But I do have to ask, Anthony. I see it with you when you bring in like new people to BCW. You've given so many people opportunities. What do you see? Like, how do you evaluate these people when you bring in? Like, what's a big thing for you when do you just bring on everybody, or that you meet that's cool, or do you bring on? Is there something special that you see in them?
It's always it's two things. First of all, it's timing, right? Like a lot of times, if we're looking for new people, someone will just hit me at the right moment, and that'll be exactly what I'm looking for. And then other times, it's about the presentation. I get emails, I get resumes from people all the time, and I go through these emails and resumes, and I look at stuff, and I look for those key things. Like, I don't know about other promoters, but when I first came into this business, I would look at wrestlers, and I'd say, oh, wow, he did a great move off the top rope, and that was very impressive and stuff like that. But then I started to say, you know what? If I look at 10 guys, of the 10, 6 of them can do a nice move off the top rope. But how would you, as a sportsman, right? If you lose this match, are you going to lose gracefully? Are you going to be able to still get yourself over even after taking a loss? Like, what is your in-ring performance is great, but what is your out-of-the-ring performance about as well? You know what I mean? So a lot of factors come into play when I bring people in, because when I bring people in, it's like opening the door to my home. And I'm not just going to let anybody in my home. You know what I mean? And that's how I feel about BCW. So when you come into BCW, always know that there's something that I found to be great about you. And that's why you're here.
That's awesome. Because, yeah, I mean, I would just say, like, anybody can hit a moonsault. Not everybody can hit a moonsault. But, like, there's so many people that can pull off, like, different moves. Like, or move so well in the ring. But, it's just that extra something that goes a long way. What is your character? Who is your persona? Do you have even a social media presence? Does that something you look at, too, a social media presence?
Oh, yeah, definitely. That plays a big part. Yeah, because, like, each wrestler is a celebrity in their own right. And if you want to claim to be a celebrity, you have to have a following. You have to be engaging. You have to have people wanting to be around you, wanting to know what your next move is. You have to basically have people wanting more of you. And if you don't have that, like, that's a big part of being a wrestler, being an entertainer in any industry. And, you got to be able to get people to rally behind you. You got to get people to support your cause. And without that, I don't know how you're going to make it in this industry, because that's a very big part of it.
No, absolutely. I mean, when I first got into entertainment, period, it was something that was drilled into me because I wasn't a big social media guy back in the day. It was so long ago. And, it was stressed to me from a brand manager that I had that he was just saying about social media. It's a way to network and also to market yourself. Eventually I found my way. I started to have fun with it, because it just felt very forced and not organic. It was like, this is me branding. But yeah, in all facets of entertainment, it's so important to get your name out there somehow, some way, and creating a brand for yourself. And it's a great way to network as well.
Yeah.
If you use it right.
Yeah.
I think that's
I'm just like you, Mark. I hated social media. I didn't want to do Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, none of that. And I'm still confused by many of it, like TikTok. I hear so much about TikTok. Everybody's TikToking. I have no idea what TikTok is. Never been on it. I mean, Irvin Diaz?
Yeah.
He's always telling me, he's like, yo, look at my TikTok. I'm like, Irvin, I don't know what TikTok is. He's like, oh, come on, Ant,
I love TikTok, man.
See, I have no idea.
I would say BCW should get a TikTok, but by the time this interview airs, TikTok may no longer be a thing, so I don't know. But, Anthony, nice little segue here. Where can we find social media platforms for BCW?
Oh, BCW is on Instagram at Bree Combination Wrestling. We're on social media as Bree Combination as well. And on Twitter, we're Bree_Combination_Wrestling. You can find us on all of that, and you can find us on YouTube under Bree Combination Wrestling as well.
Boom. Awesome.
So we're everywhere.
Thank you so much for that, Anthony Cole. And also for September 5th, where can everyone find the tickets?
You can find tickets on Eventbrite, or you can call the BCW office directly at 347-446-5142.
All right. Mr. Anthony Cole, ladies and gentlemen, will you be joining us for Last Call?
Of course.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. We will have Anthony Cole for Last Call. You are the man. I bow to you. But going back to the studio for TV Takedown.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for having me. And you know what? Before we go, I know there's a lot of people that I want to give a shout-out to, but one person in particular, Frankie Flo. Frankie, if you out there, give me a call, bro. I haven't talked to you in a minute. Hope all is well.
Much love to Frankie Flo. Again, another huge presence into why I'm in professional wrestling. Yes. So you can either thank him or hate him for that.
Exactly. Maybe a little bit of both. I feel the same way sometimes. This industry is so crazy, but I love it so much. It's like unbelievable.
Well, yes, much love to Frankie Flo. But meantime, yes, going back to TV Takedown with myself and Carson Ehoff.
It's time for this week's TV Takedown.
Woo, man. I cannot wait for September 5th. It's this Saturday at the Showboat. Big night for the Satsujan squad. Carson, what do you think, man? You going to go to Atlantic City?
I'm going to try my best to get there, baby.
Oh, man, it's going to be a party, baby. I got some more information for you afterwards, but it's TV Takedown. A lot to talk about in wrestling in general. First off, we're going to go with NXT TakeOver 30. Carson, what was your takedown moment for that?
My takedown moment from that was shout out to Pat McAfee. Can we actually go? And here's why I'm actually I was ecstatic when that match was over, because how many times have we seen somebody take it from Hollywood or somebody take it from the professional sporting world, put him into a ring, and the results are like, he showed us some shit in that match.
That was the best celebrity match, if you could call it celebrity, the best celebrity match I've seen. My
biggest takedown is that he looked like he belonged. Yeah. And I think he needs to have a future in that company. He's at home right now. He really is.
No, absolutely. I love listening to his podcast. He's very entertaining. Pat McAfee, it just seems like a natural in the wrestling world. Michael J. Putty and I were talking last week how he just belongs. He talks the talk. He's got a good look to him. He's got a great physique for a punter. And then you see what he does at TakeOver. I mean, I was blown away. My jaw was to the floor. I couldn't believe it. I mean, that's my takedown moment for TakeOver as well.
I mean, and they also tell a good story with him, because punter in the NFL, what's his finisher? You know, he's a very Randy Orton-esque punt. Yeah, and it's it makes it just so realistic for me because there's so many of these celebrities that come in or sports athletes that come in. They don't look like they belong, but they're there for the entertainment value, which is awesome. You know, it's sometimes like, you know, when Shaquille O'Neal came to Raw, you know, a couple of years ago or years back, you know, and I think we clothesline somebody over the top rope. I'm like, all right, that was cool to watch, but like, he doesn't belong. Pat McAfee looked like he'd been wrestling for the last 15 years, man.
Fantastic athlete, man. Fantastic.
Even the way he sold. Yeah,
the facial expressions, it was all there. The dude was a natural. He's better than a lot of people I've seen.
And he cut a hell of a promo.
So, yeah, both of us, Pat McAfee, obviously the biggest takeaway from TakeOver.
Put him on the 500.
Put him on the 500, 501, right?
Yeah.
That's the ongoing joke. All right, so then we both agree there. So moving on to SummerSlam. Carson, what do you got?
Well, my takeaway from SummerSlam kind of coincides with what happened tonight. Because obviously the biggest takeaway from there is Roman Reigns making his return. The entire world waiting 5 days to see, is he heel, is he face? What is he, a tweener? Oh, no, did we get our answer tonight?
Well, okay, before you get into that, I have to ask, did you see it coming?
I did not.
No, same here. I have to agree.
Not.
Same here. I did not see that coming.
And I knew something was up because I'm like, okay, this match just ended. I'm like, there's something that's got to happen. Now, I'll be honest. I thought it was going to be Otis cashing his Money in the Bank briefcase.
I thought it was going to be Alexa Bliss. Because they've been leading to that. They've been teasing that. I was heavily invested into it because that whole aspect made it much more interesting. I was a little bit disappointed it wasn't it. I even thought at one point it might be Retribution. But Roman Reigns didn't see it coming at all. Well played by WWE because it's very rare when we get surprised.
Exactly. And I think how they bounced off that, playing it the right way right now. And like you said with Alexa Bliss, it's trending that direction. I cannot wait to see when they make the official move or seeing what's in store down the road for Bliss and the Fiend.
We might see a payback. So I don't know, but Carson, I'm going to have to disagree with you. My takedown moment, or my takedown just in general from SummerSlam, Randy Orton versus Drew McIntyre. I thought that match was so old school, but yet so enjoyable.
Yes.
And it's a great way because it makes both of them look strong and to keep that storyline going. When was the last time you saw in a championship match the finish as a backslide?
I loved it. And a lot of people hated the fact that, they were making fun of, you didn't see it coming. Oh, what? They're not hitting a finisher on one another. I loved it.
Loved it, man.
It makes them look stronger. You know, you're not catching me with the RKO. You're not hitting me with the Claymore. So it makes the feud be able to last more, you know? Because now it's like, now you're anticipating the next match, and you're like, okay, when's the RKO coming? Okay, is he going to hit him with the Claymore? And yeah, the old school finish, I mean, that just takes you back to like SummerSlam '92, you know, with Bret Hart and the British Bulldog.
Oh, 100%. That's exactly what I was thinking of when I saw that. You know, it was classic wrestling.
Yes. And it was able at the same time, for old school fans like me and you, okay, it's able to prolong the feud, and it leaves us, it leaves us wanting more. The fact that they didn't hit a finisher on each other, now it's, the next match, what's everyone going to be looking for? They're going to be anticipating the finisher from somebody's end. I loved it. I loved the booking of it. Old school, great technical match. Two bigger guys in the ring like that, being able to put on a nice little technical show. I loved it. Yeah,
I mean, that's another thing too. Like when you see men. Wrestlers with their type of physique, you don't normally expect that type of match, you know. And the fact that they were able to deliver and again carry out the storyline. I mean, you saw what happened on Monday Night Raw. It's definitely escalated to another point, and it's going to carry out to probably at least Survivor Series.
Yeah, I hope so. The longer the feud, the more I love it, man.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's just continuing to evolve, and what better way to do that than Randy Orton to give Drew McIntyre that opponent? Because every champion every hero needs a Joker. Every hero, they need a Lex Luthor. And I feel like for Drew McIntyre, as a formidable champion, he needs that top heel. And what better heel right now than Randy Orton?
Yes. And can I give an honorable mention about take that from SummerSlam? Dominic Mysterio.
Okay.
I was very surprised. I know he's been training. I know he has the family. But, I mean, the way he came out with a fast offense. He was hitting well-timed arm drags. And you look at him, he's 6'2". He's billed as 6'2". So, I mean, he's over 6 foot. He doesn't have a body of somebody who can work a fast offense.
I know. I mean, Eddie Guerrero's son is just absolutely fantastic. No, I mean, honestly, I mean, that match, I did not have a lot of expectations in that match at all.
Me neither. Yep.
And I have to say, like, kudos to Seth Rollins and to Dominic and to Rey Mysterio, Buddy Murphy, to everyone there, the commentary team. They sold it. So the emotion, because you saw the action in the ring. That's one thing, right? But the heightened emotion of, like, you know, what's going on. Like, you know, I was never a big Rey Mysterio fan growing up. I've always been siding more so with the heels. Surprise, surprise. And here I am finding myself kind of rooting away for Dominic, rooting for Rey Mysterio, because you see, you know, his father, Rey Mysterio, is being handcuffed, watching his son take a beating. And to get to the stomp at the end, you know, you just feel, oh, damn, man. Like, you find yourself...
That was one of those matches, that was like one of those matches, like, going into it, I was like, oh, this is going to be like the worst match on the card. That match ended, and I was like, wow, I'm impressed. I'm impressed about everything. You know, I wasn't expecting that from him. You know, he doesn't look like that type of guy who's going to be able to do all that stuff he did in that match, and he did it very smooth. No, it looked smooth, it looked natural.
Absolutely. I mean, look at his father. I mean, just the fact I wasn't a fan, I can't just say, like, you know, Rey Mysterio is awful in the ring. Rey Mysterio is one of the best little men to enter WWE ring, hands down. I just never really could get behind his character for whatever reason. I just never connected to it.
I'm with you on that.
I could always appreciate his in-ring work, and Rey Mysterio, I mean, no better teacher right there than his father. So obviously Dominic, he has this in his blood. And growing up in the business, I'm sure he learned some things even from Eddie Guerrero growing up. Who knows? You know,
Mark, where do you see Dominic Mysterio's ceiling in the WWE?
His ceiling? Oh man.
Yeah, what's his ceiling in WWE?
You know,
Intercontinental Champion.
I think it's too early to tell, because you never know. Because you look at someone like Cesaro, right?
Yeah.
And right away, I mean, Cesaro to me like looks like a champion. He looks like a world champion. But yet, for whatever reason, you know, he's never gotten even that opportunity. Mm-hmm. He's a 6-time tag team champion, former United States champion. I don't necessarily know if he's won the Intercontinental Champion. I can't remember. But, you know, he's always been that middle card guy, and that was always the ceiling when he deserved so much more.
Yeah.
You know, it's tough to say. You know, does Rey Mysterio's name give him some more clout, maybe, to get to that other level?
Yeah.
I don't necessarily know.
I think he needs to work on his body more. I think he needs to take the next 3 or 4 years. You know, work on his body, make him a believable champion, because he has everything else. You know, he has the size, he has the blood, but that's the one thing I think he needs to work. You know, take a couple of years, work on his body, and just continue to do what he's doing, man. Because he really impressed me on Sunday.
He did. He absolutely did, and I don't necessarily know if that was more so Seth or Ray or just the storyline in general, but Dominic Mysterio, he surpassed expectations. I'll say that.
Yeah.
But moving on now to TV, a lot happened. Carson, what's your takedown moment this week?
I'm getting right into it.
All right.
Come on. Tonight was one of my biggest holy shit moments.
By tonight, he means Friday night, ladies and gentlemen.
Was one of the biggest moments I've, like, in terms of where my jaw just dropped. And I was like, no effing way.
I know,
I
man.
loved it.
When Big E beat The Miz, I couldn't believe it. I thought for sure that, wait, you're talking about something else?
Oh, yeah. I'm talking about something else.
Lay it on me, brother. Come on, get it out.
Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman. Arguably the best mouth on the mic, with arguably the best wrestler in the business right now, the top dog. Come on, man. That is a duo that I didn't see coming. Like, did you ever think Roman Reigns needed Paul Heyman?
Yes.
Did you ever think Paul Heyman needed Roman Reigns?
Yes. I actually, not that I saw this coming.
Did you ever think they were going to come together, though?
Yes. In my head, it always made sense for them to come together. I didn't necessarily know if WWE would have the balls to pull it off, to pull the trigger on this. But in my head, it always made sense. You know, with Paul Heyman's history with Roman Reigns' family in general, you know, and Roman Reigns, he needed that adjustment. He needed someone else. And at one point, they kind of teased it. But you remember the last feud they had with Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar? It was kind of teased that this may happen down the line. I was like, no, because this just makes too much sense in my head. WWE's not going to do this.
Yeah.
How could they do it? When he said it's not a prediction, it's a spoiler, I was like, no.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
They're not doing it. Camera pans, boom.
Yeah. It's
Roman Reigns is a Paul Heyman guy? They did it?
Yo, it's funny that you said the camera, because the minute the camera moved, I was like, no. And then of course, Paul Heyman's there, and Paul Heyman can sell the entire world with the facial expression. And the way they just went with such a silent exit to the show like that, it was just, I got the goosebumps, man. I got the goosebumps. That was big time.
No, that was huge. I am so glad that they finally did this. And you know what? Even at SummerSlam, when Roman Reigns, when he was talking, moving the way he's moving. And by the way, Roman Reigns looks great. This is definitely the best shape that we've seen him in probably ever.
Yeah.
And great teeth, by the way. And, you know, I was noticing something. I couldn't help but thinking, even on Friday on SmackDown, I just kept on playing in my head about Chris Jericho, what he said, if they allow Roman Reigns to be Roman Reigns, it's going to be off the charts.
Yeah.
There's just going to be no stopping it, right? I saw what he's talking about. Finally, I feel like we're getting Roman Reigns being a Roman Reigns. They're allowing him to be him.
Now, do you think he's a heel, though? We still haven't gotten that answer yet.
I don't know. You know, I at one point I was thinking, after SummerSlam, I was thinking, you know, I think I'm getting a Stone Cold vibe here, like the anti-hero, you know. But now with Paul Heyman there, different ball game. It's very different.
He's just still in the position now. You know, like the way he's booked for Payback, like, you know, Braun Strowman's toning that line of being a heel right now. I think you argue he probably is more of a heel than he is a face. The Fiend is what he is. You know, I feel like as a fan, you know, you're supposed to hate him, but like, come on, we all love him. And Roman Reigns, you know, now it's like, you know, does that match need a face in it? Like, we don't know. We're not going to get the answer, you know, probably until next week.
I think the natural answer is the Fiend. The fans, I mean, we just love him for whatever reason. Maybe maybe it's just 2020 and we're just all in that sick, dark place. Maybe it's Stockholm Syndrome.
He goes with the times.
You just go with it. But, you know, I have a feeling, though, we're just going to naturally gravitate towards Roman Reigns in this. Because what happened with Stone Cold when they turned him heel?
Yeah.
How long did that really last? I mean, Stone Cold, that whole promo was supposed to be heel, and we just fed more and more into it because we loved it. We love when people are organic. You know, we love when people are themselves. Even if you're a dick, there's a way to be a lovable dick. I've been called out all my life. I'm a lovable dick. You know,
but you bring up a great point when you say that, because a lot of times in the wrestling business, especially WWE, how many times has somebody as a heel gotten over, right?
Well, I was about to say with Becky Lynch.
And we just love it because, you know, he's so badass. I love that. And then they see the positive energy from the fans, and all of a sudden they turn him face, and all of a sudden they just lose steam. Because the reason why we fell in love with Stone Cold Steve Austin was because he was a badass.
But, you know, Carson, I have to say my takedown moment of the week was Retribution. Retribution, we've been talking about for a while, like Monday Night Raw and SmackDown. It's like two different versions of Retribution. You know, they're not really doing anything big on Monday Night Raw. It's more so on SmackDown. But finally we saw it. Retribution ending the show strong, you know, beating down both Mysterios, Ray and Dominic. I mean, that's usually something you see in SmackDown. I'm actually shocked going back on it. They didn't do anything at SummerSlam at all. I thought that was a missed opportunity. They didn't do anything on Friday night at SmackDown, but, you know, Raw was enough for me to get my attention. Like, all right, finally, you do something Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all for the Retribution storyline as long as it ends the right way. Because here's the thing. Now there's too many people in Retribution right now. I mean, you're seeing the numbers get larger and larger as the weeks go on for the most part. And I just want this to end the right way. And if I was booking, I would end it with somebody either making a debut or making a comeback, or, you know, this is, you know, almost like you saw with the Dark Order, the Exalted One, right?
Right.
Something like that. You know, I don't want 7 people getting over, or 6 people debuting out of this, or trying to get people over or onto the main roster from wherever. I want to see one person get over with this whole thing, because the more people you involve in this to get over at the end of this, it's you know, it's going to lose steam. I want one person in charge of this.
Who do you think it is? Not who do you want it to be? Who do you think it is?
Yeah, I honestly don't know. I really don't know. I mean, come on, let's get the skeleton out the closet here, or the elephant in the room, I should say. We all want it to be CM Punk, but that's not going to happen.
It's not CM Punk.
Yeah,
it's definitely not CM Punk. We want it to be CM Punk so bad, but it's not him. At one point, after SummerSlam, there's speculation that maybe it's Roman Reigns that's behind this. Last week, we did see one member of Retribution lay out a spear.
Yeah, but see, the problem with Roman Reigns being is that now you're taking two fire storylines right now, right?
Yeah.
And you're making it into one. Like, you have two must-watch TV things going on right now, and I keep those separate, man. Like, let both those build, make it more must-see TV. The only thing I hate, though, that WWE is doing, and I totally agree with this, is that they're playing Retribution off as like, something that they don't want in the company. They don't want them rooting their shows. They don't want this. They hate them, right? They keep showing replays celebrating, their attacks on them. I kind of feel like if they went away from the replays, it would kind of make it more, mysterious attack and more like, who are these guys, or girls? There are girls in there as well.
Yeah, obviously there are girls in there, yeah.
Yeah, So I kind of just want them and another thing, too, the other week when they were the first segment of the show, when they were like, we have security guards guarding the SmackDown. And within 5 minutes, they're in the arena already. It's kind of illogical. Some of the things that they're, how they're being booked in a way. Like, for instance, you have security around your building, and the first 5 minutes of the show, they somehow get into the PC from 2 weeks ago.
Oh, who knows, man? I mean, like you said before, there are a lot of them. I want
they
to
just show up.
I want to see how it plays out personally. I want to see already. Like, I think they're flirting on a line here that it might be going too long without something big. They need something big. They need to do something different now. We've seen them attack main eventers. We've seen them attack the champions. I was expecting to
drag it.
What's that?
I'm saying, why rush it though? Drag it. I want this to last for a while.
Slowly but surely,
make them more spotty.
Slowly but surely, they need to escalate their game. Maybe give a reveal to one lesser member, not necessarily the one behind it. The reveal maybe Xavier Woods is a member. I thought in SmackDown, they were going to do something to Vince. I'm like, oh, this is going to be great. They're going to do something to Vince. But no,
I think they eventually will.
That didn't happen. I think that should happen. I even think there's obviously women in Retribution. I think they should take over a women's match. They should invade that. There's a lot of things they could be doing along the way. So they could drag it out a bit, but still keep us interested, so you can finally give that big payoff to whoever the hell is behind it.
Well, and to me, less is more, too. Like, I don't need to see them on every show. I mean, quite frankly, I can go 2 weeks without seeing them, and all of a sudden they come back, and it's like, oh, wow, they're here. You strike when no one's expecting it.
I agree.
Not every show.
I can excuse them not being on SmackDown on Friday, but to not do anything at SummerSlam, the second biggest show of the year, I don't know about that. I don't know. I feel like something should have happened there. Personally.
Well, if you just think about logical booking here, though, right? A lot of the things that Retribution is doing, right, has been at the end of shows for the most part, right? That's when they've been, I think other than one SmackDown when they.
I feel like it's been all over pretty much.
Yeah, but now if they go into SummerSlam and they attack everybody at ringside, like, where does that leave the rest of the show? It kind of takes away from the main event, because now it's like, is Retribution going to come back, and it's taking away the interest from the main event. And I feel like the main event they had something huge planned. It was effective, and I think they wanted to make it about Roman Reigns.
But you're going back to if you want to go back to believability here, it just makes no sense that you have this anarchist group that for the biggest show of the summer that are maybe even bigger than WrestleMania this year because they did it at Thunderdome, that they don't make an appearance at all. They don't try to do anything, and they don't try to hack even.
Well, also too, you have Payback coming up this Sunday. They could be saving it for that.
Maybe, and that's what I'm hoping for. But Carson, we have to add in some closing thoughts here, man. I've been having a good time with you. I could talk wrestling with you all day, man. Hell of a show with you, man. I'm so glad you came on board for this.
Yeah, man. I couldn't be happier, man, talking wrestling with you, man. With me, you can go all night if you want, man, talking this stuff. But my closing thoughts here. Very interesting week of wrestling. We saw some debuts, Dominic Mysterio. I guess you want to call it a debut or a one-off. Pat McAfee. We saw a very, very fun ending to not only SummerSlam, but to SmackDown. And even we saw a fun ending to Raw with Retribution beating up on Dominic and Rey Mysterio. Wrestling business is in a good place right now. It's in a good place. There's some hot storylines coming up to take us into the fall season. And I love it, man. I love everything going on in the business right now. I know everyone likes to always talk negative about the business on Twitter behind their keyboard, but I'm going to keep it real with you. We had a great week in the business, and we have a bright future coming up. Thunderdome's killing it. AEW's killing it. I can't wait, man. I can't wait to see how this weekend unfolds with Payback.
Amen to that, dude. And you know what? We also have indie wrestling coming back, as we talked about earlier before with Anthony Cole. BCW is coming back in a big, big way, bigger than ever. And on top of that, guys, we didn't talk about it before, but I'm going to mention it right now. When you get your tickets, you can also get a chance to go to our AEW watch party hosted by Shot of Wrestling with Jimmy J's very own special deal here he's got, where we actually have a no-ring death match. That's right, with PWI listed Casanova Valentine. He's going to be facing off against Kit Osborne. Again, no ring death match in Atlantic City, baby. The watch party itself is actually going to be hosted by Tommy Dreamer and Anthony Gangone with his girl Valentina Vasquez, as well as going to be in the house, along with AEW All Out being played. I mean, you have all this going on. That's a party that I want to be at. What about you, Carson?
I agree 100%, man. Get your tickets and have a blast, everyone.
Hell yeah, you can get it on Eventbrite. You can check out Shot of Wrestling's page. You can check out Jimmy J's page or even BCW. All the information is on there. It's all over social media. You can follow us, Shot of Wrestling, all across the board, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We don't have a TikTok yet. That's me personally. If you want to check out my information, you can go to yourfavoriteactor.com. Carson, where can they check you out?
They can check me out at Carson Niehoff on Twitter. I am there.
That's it? That's all you have is Twitter? My God, you're lame.
Oh, I got Facebook, baby, and I got Instagram. But, you know, you'll catch some of my takes on Twitter.
There we go. All right, well,
That's the place to find me.
Carson, thank you again for being on the show, man. Much love to you. I cannot wait to face you in fantasy football this year. My first time hosting a league. I'm going to dominate, as I always do. But, guys, make sure you stay tuned for Last Call with Anthony Cole.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time I need to announce it's last call at the bar.
Oh. All right, guys, so if you've made it this far, it is last call. I'm here again with Mr. Anthony Cole. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
All right, my man. Okay, so getting right to it. Who do you think is the best on the mic?
You know what? I would say the best on the mic by far to me would be Darius Carter.
Like, I had a feeling you were going to say that.
Yeah, Darius, he's something else, man. Every time I talk to Darius, I never know which Darius I'm going to get. You know, so it's like this guy. But yeah, it's definitely Darius Carter.
Who do you think has the best mind for wrestling?
You know what? This is very interesting because I know there's people who are like, you know, do this for a living. And they are, you know, magnificent at what they do. But the people that I've come in contact with, the person I would say that has the best wrestling mind to me would be Shane from NYWC.
Okay.
Shane has been my mentor since I entered this industry. And, man, I've learned so much from him. Not just, like, how to put on a show, but the background stuff of what goes on with the financials, with the contracts, and things of that nature. So from the people that I've been in contact with, I would say Shane.
Who is, in your mind, the biggest star in wrestling history?
In my mind, the biggest star in wrestling history is my favorite wrestler of all time.
Hey, baby, I hear the bell ringing, hip tosses and body slams. Oh, my. And maybe you seem a bit confused. Yeah, baby, but I got you pinned. Ha, 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 ha. But I don't know what to do when I see them with that golden case. They're cashing it in. Authority all in my face. What is a man to do?
Your celebrity.
Good night, everybody.
I think I just made Mr. Anthony Cole blush a little bit here.
Oh, shit. Wow. You know who is my celebrity crush? Angela Bassett. I have been in love with Angela Bassett all my life. Like, oh my God. I remember growing up, my dad was so in love with Tina Turner. And when Angela Bassett did What's Love Got to Do With It, I was smitten like that.
Now,
I've seen... Go ahead.
I don't want to, cause any bad blood between us right now, but I think you're going to hate me. So was it 2 years ago? I actually had a scene with Angela Bassett where I got to dance with her.
Wow.
So I had it was for a movie called Otherhood, which is on Netflix right now. Shameless plug.
I'm gonna check that out. What is it called?
Otherhood, yeah.
And you're in it?
I had a small scene in there. I had a small part where I was dancing with Angela Bassett.
I'm going on Netflix right now, Mark. I got to see this, the Swan and Only.
I gotta tell you, man, she had moves.
Now look, if you're too close up on her, though, I'm gonna have to take you off the show.
I was pretty close up on her after she gave me a little playful slap there.
Mark, I'm so jealous,
dude.
Oh man.
But I guess she was so cool, and I had no idea. It was just a few days before her 50th birthday or something like that.
Yeah.
I had no idea. Like I was like, damn, this woman looks phenomenal.
Yeah.
And she was in great shape. She was keeping up. It was awesome. Well,
good stuff, man. Congratulations to you. Jeez. That's awesome.
I hope we're cool.
We cool.
All right, so we're going to end off in this. Mr. Anthony Cole, who is the toughest competitor in your mind?
I would have to say Stone Cold.
Okay.
Stone Cold Steve Austin. I've looked at Stone Cold. Remember when he had the blonde hair, right?
Yes.
You would never think that guy would become
the Texas rattlesnake, right?
The Texas rattlesnake, right? So I just look at him like, wow, Stone Cold. Like, so many people tried to count him out, and I'm just like, you fought not only like to be a star when nobody thought you could do it, and then you managed to improve your character as time went on, So I think that takes a mental toughness as well as a physical toughness. So when I look at him, and there are a lot of people who've done that, but just for me, remembering like the stuff that Stone Cold went through, like it was impressive to me.
Yeah, absolutely. Mental toughness, you can't count that out. And then also on top of that, like just overall toughness, the dude finished the match with a broken neck with Owen Hart.
With a broken neck. Right.
And then like came back from neck surgery and was still able to compete on a very high level. So, yeah, definitely strong choice right there, Stone Cold. But Mr. Anthony Cole, that is all the time we have today. Thank you so much for joining us. And for everyone back home listening, Shot of Wrestling, make sure you tune into us. We're actually taking off next week for Labor Day weekend, but week after that, we will be back in action. But in the meantime, you can follow us on Shot of Wrestling all across the board on social media. Tune in next time. Schwan is out.